Hello everyone, my name is Michael LeBlanc, Director and Senior Portfolio Manager at Canaccord Genuity Wealth Management. And this week I want to talk to you about the top 10 performing companies on the TSX. Just for the month of May, today is May 7th, we're only a week into the month, but the reason I want to talk about this is we mentioned in our weekly updates that we do every Tuesday afternoon. We're in the middle of earnings seasons right now, and of course we're just starting to see some of the numbers coming out of the companies for the first quarter, where we went into quarantine when we've seen the shutdown really start to affect them. Keep in mind, these earnings only reflect the first 3 months of the year, and for the most part, things were positive in January and February, so the real impact has only been for the month of March, which is only about a third, but we are starting to see a glimpse into some of the company's earnings and how they're being impacted, and certainly we're starting to see it by sector. So we'll go through the list. This is a Canadian list. We've done a second video for the US list, but we'll go through the list and we'll talk a little bit about what trends we're seeing and what industries we're seeing the impacts in. We are looking forward to seeing the second quarter earnings, or at least start to get some insight into the second quarter earnings, because that is going to be a full quarter of the companies being affected, or the industries being affected by a full shutdown, and we'll start to see a greater impact as we move through that. So as always, this is for information purposes only. Do not take any of this as advice. Always do your own due diligence or research, or solicit the skills and advice of a professional before investing in your portfolio. And the information we're providing here today is as up to date as we can, but always double check as information is constantly changing. So let's start our top 10 list for the Canadian market, and we'll start at the bottom. Our 10th top performer, Franco Nevada Corp, symbol FNV, had a positive return so far in May of 9.3%. Franco Nevada is a precious metal producer focusing on gold, and we're probably going to see a little bit of trend with that, as gold is seen as a flight to safety as more money is poured in there. On the negative side, 7 Generations Energy, stock symbol VII, on the TSX, minus 10.4% return. 7 Energy is an oil energy producer, and we've seen quite a negative move on oil in the last couple of months. A little bit of bounce back, but still a negative outlook, so not surprising they're coming in 10th spot. On the number 9 spot, we've got OceanaGold, another precious metal producer. CGC is their symbol. And on the positive side, on the negative side, we've got Aritzia, stock symbol ATZ. Oceanic had a positive of 9.4, and Aritzia is coming in at a minus 10.5. Aritzia is a clothing clothing distributor all across Canada and in the US, and obviously being closed for the month of March has seriously impacted their sales, and not a lot of trend upwards as they remain closed, and even if they open in the next few weeks, it will be a slow reopen. At the number 8 spot, we got Boralex Inc. Boralex symbol BLX on TSX, a positive 10% return so far in May. Boralex is an interesting one, a utility company, a power company, but focusing on renewable energy. So that's a good sign that we're seeing them in the top 10 as they focus on wind, solar, and hydroelectric power. Obviously, all utility power companies continue to have revenues and continue pretty much unaffected as people stay home. But to see the renewable energies up in the top list is a good sign. Pason Systems, PSI, the symbol on the negative. Pason is a equipment manufacturer for oil rigs. Again, with the commodity down, there's not a lot of projects moving forward, and a minus 10.7% for them so far in May. Number 7, Agnico Eagle Mines, another precious metal producer, symbol AEM, positive 10.1% returns so far in May. On the negative side, Spin Master, symbol TOY, and by the symbol you can tell they make toys. So with the distribution line shut down and the supply chain shut down, they've been affected through March, and they had a minus 10.8% return. The number 6 spot on the positive is Pretium Resources, another materials, a precious metal, symbol PVG. They've come in at a 10.5% return. And on the negative, we've got another energy company, Husky Oil, symbol HSE. Husky coming in at minus 11.6. Number 5 spot goes to Enghouse Systems, symbol ENGH. Enghouse is a tech company focusing on business management software, inventory control software. As companies try to get more efficient, try to increase automation, increase their delivery lines to their clients, and create more space and protection for their employees. We've seen their sales jump, and they've had a positive 11.2% return. On the negative side, Exchange Income, symbol EIF, is an aerospace company making parts for the airline industry. So not a big shock that they're not moving too many parts right now, with most of the airlines grounded around the world even. Minus 14% so far in May. In the number 4 spot, we got Wheaton Precious Metals, symbol WRM, another precious metals materials producer. They've come in at a positive 12.4 for the month of May. And the negative side, BRP Inc, symbol DOO. You'll know them better as Skidoo, ATV manufacturers, motorcycle manufacturer, basically a recreational equipment. Again, with the distribution stores and supply chain shut down, they've come in with a minus 14% return so far in May. The number 3 spot goes to Centerra Gold, another precious metal on the Canadian side, symbol CG. They've had a 12.85 positive return. And on the negative side, Cineplex Inc, symbol CGX. Of course, all the movie theaters are shut down. All the releases of the new movies have been pushed out to much later this year or into next year. So the negative impact of minus 14% so far in May. Number 2 spot in Canada goes to Shopify, symbol SHOP. Shopify, if you're not familiar, is an online retail company. You equate it to similar to Amazon. Positive 17.1% return so far in May. And on the negative side, Air Canada's coming in the 2nd spot, symbol AC, with a minus 17.5% return for Air Canada. Air Canada is still holding out that they have access to a lot of cash. They went into it with about a $7 billion in their bank account, and have racked up their lines of credit to take that up to roughly $18 billion in the bank account. But of course, with no real vision as to when we're going to reopen or when people start to get on planes again, it's difficult to forecast. In the number 1 spot in Canada, we got Real Matters, stock symbol REAL. This is again a tech company focusing on finance and mortgage softwares. As we've seen, again, more and more business going online, seeing a lot of people looking at credits to help them get through this, companies as well. They've had a positive 26.19% return so far in May. And on the negative side, we got Chorus Aviation, CRH. Chorus is a regional airline company supplying the service to that area with a minus 17.7% return so far in May. And again, that rounds up the list. So what did we see through there? Obviously, technology is a big winner on the plus side, and precious metals. I think the big insight we can see into the precious metals is that people are still very nervous. They are still looking for that safety. They're looking for that currency or economic hedge that the gold tends to represent in these times. Although we've seen volatility in the underlying commodity price of gold, we're still seeing cash flow in there. And so the earnings are definitely still making people nervous, and I think a lot of the smart money is still waiting to see some insight into the 2nd quarter earnings. On the negative side, no big surprises there. A lot of effect on the travel industry. We're seeing a lot in the energy sectors in Canada as more and more cutbacks happens there. And anything that distributes through retail, of course, is being severely affected. And that's going to continue. Even with the talks of reopening the provinces in the coming 2 to 3 weeks, it is going to obviously be a slow open. Not just a slow open from companies having to put a plan into place as how they're going to control social distancing within the stores, how people are going to have to control that distancing, but also the confidence of people getting out there. So, you know, if you're looking for positive stories in the retail sector, definitely focus on those that are looking at e-commerce, they're expanding their online presence, and able to deliver their product through shipping as opposed to live interactions in the stores. Anyway, that's all we have for the Canadian list. As I mentioned, the link for the US list is just down below. We look forward to talking to you again in the coming days. If you have any ideas or any suggestions for these videos, please send them in. We're always excited to hear from you. Leave a comment down below, or our email or contact information is there. Reach out. Don't be shy during this time. We are working regular hours, and I thank you all for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.